Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors and sponsored by WorkHuman. Thanks for joining me for your quick update on what's important in the world of work. My name is Steve Boese. Today in the Workplace Minute, we look at the surge of layoffs across the United States in 2025, which is unlike anything we've seen since the pandemic. Let's break it down. According to the latest tally from outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas, U.S. employers have announced around 1.17 million job cuts so far this year. That's the highest total since 2020 and the fifth highest annual total since 1993. Across nearly every sector, from tech to government to traditional industries, companies large and small have been trimming headcount. The cuts started early in the year, and by April alone, more than 600,000 layoffs had already been announced. And some of the biggest names in business are part of this wave. Large tech firms such as Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, as well as other giants across retail, services, logistics, and more have cut jobs in 2025. And it's not just tech companies. Government layoffs, especially from federal agencies adjusting to budget cuts and restructuring post the government shutdown, are also contributing significantly. By November, layoffs remain elevated. Even though planned job cuts dropped 53% from October, the November total of over 71,000 layoffs was still 24% higher than November of last year. And meanwhile, hiring has also slowed dramatically. Private sector hiring through November was the lowest since 2010. The combined signals from 2025 are shaping up for the upcoming year to be a pivotal moment for the American workforce. So why is this surge in layoffs happening after years of relative stability and even talent shortages? Well, several forces are combining at the same time. First, post-pandemic overhiring and right-sizing. Many firms expanded aggressively during and just after the pandemic. And now, as demand has stabilized or even softened, many are recalibrating. Economic headwinds and uncertainty. Soft demand in retail, consumer goods, and shifting global trade conditions have added pressure. For example, companies like UPS have called for soft demand and global trade shifts as the reason for staffing reductions. And uncertainty around constantly changing U.S. tariff policies are causing employers to hold off on hiring as well. Then there's the rise of automation and AI. Perhaps the most talked about driver this year, many firms now explicitly cite AI or automation as their rationale for layoffs. In total, about 50,000 U.S. job cuts this year have been attributed, at least in part, to AI and automation. And finally, restructuring, reshaping. Companies aren't simply just trimming costs. Many are looking to reconfigure their organizational structures, especially by flattening hierarchies to become more lean and become more automated. And this wave of layoffs reveals a broader transformation underway across the U.S. labor market. It may not be a cyclical downturn this time. It might represent more structural change. Why? Because the AI and automation economy is accelerating. The fact that tens of thousands of jobs are explicitly tied to AI-related cuts suggests the labor market is in the midst of some type of realignment. Companies are rethinking roles, reducing reliance on routine tasks, betting on software, robots, and AI systems instead. Skilled roles and not just manual jobs, they're also at risk. While early conversations about automation often focused on things like warehouse or other low-skilled jobs, 2025 shows white-collar employees, even at large, extremely profitable tech firms, are not immune. And experts describe seasoned professionals as not feeling as safe as they once did. And research on AI-driven labor changes suggests a growing divide. The automation tends to shrink jobs, especially in lower-skilled occupations, while other types of AI can support growth and higher wages and higher skilled roles. This shift could deepen inequality, especially if reskilling doesn't keep pace. So it might seem paradoxical, though. Some of the world's most profitable companies, despite record revenues and profits, are still shedding staff. Several factors combine to help explain why. Again, AI. They're pivoting to an AI-first model. For companies like Amazon and Microsoft, layoffs are often about reallocating resources and shifting budgets from legacy operations to new operations in AI, cloud, and automation. Next, many companies are attempting to reduce overhead and bureaucratic layers. Even if profitability remains strong, firms may view a leaner organization as more agile and competitive in a fast-changing environment. And in many cases, they're less interested in headcount growth and more interested in efficiency, scalability, and future readiness. And finally, technology and demand-driven structural shifts. As AI and automation mature, companies are finding they can do more with fewer humans, especially in support, administrative, or other repetitive tasks. So this makes even profitable firms susceptible to workforce reductions if they believe long-term efficiency gains outweigh short-term human costs. So while profitability might cushion the short-term impacts, corporate leadership seems focused on preparing for a future that prioritizes automation, scalability, and leaner operations. So this is a challenge for HR. Before cutting large swaths of staff, HR teams might consider alternatives, not just for the business, but for the people whose lives are shaped by these decisions. You can invest in reskilling and upskilling. Instead of layoffs, companies can retrain employees to take on these new roles, especially in AI oversight, human-centered design, product coordination, or other tasks that AI can't yet fully replicate. Next, you should reimagine human and AI collaboration. Rather than viewing AI solely as a replacement tool, organizations can lean into augmentation by redefining roles to emphasize what humans are great at, things like creativity, judgment, empathy, and complex problem solving. Next, think about more gradual transitions and redeployment plans. By phasing in automation, offering voluntary redeployment, or even early retirement programs, it gives employees time and some support to adapt and can often soften the human cost and preserve institutional knowledge and culture. And finally, include employees' voices in these transformations. Try to engage employees in these decisions, solicit feedback on automation plans, and ensure maximum transparency about how AI will be used, when, how long, and for what. So these strategies might cost more upfront, but they can build long-term resilience, preserve trust, and help companies adapt more humanely. 2025 isn't just another rough year for the job market, it may be the turning point on how work gets done in America. As the rise of AI and automation reshapes corporate priorities, the human costs are real. So here's the challenge to every HR leader and business leader or CEO who's listening. Don't treat layoffs as the only lever when facing these operational challenges. Try to work harder to uplift employee voices. Be bold enough to envision a future where technology strengthens and not replaces human talent. Because in the end, organizations are more than the sum up of their job titles. They're communities of people, all with dignity, purpose, and potential. Thanks so much for listening, and a big thank you to WorkHuman for supporting the Workplace Minute. If this episode made you think about how your organization is or is not keeping people at the center of your workforce planning, please share it with a colleague. I'm Steve Boese, and this has been the Workplace Minute from H3 HR Advisors.